This is the Shrewsbury Housing Authority, December 10th, 2024, board meeting. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and thank you to the Shrewsbury Towers for having us, as they do host us every once in a while, like most of the time we meet. Do we have minutes?
Mr. Chair, if it
Everybody
please,
looked at the minutes?
if it please the board, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the November 12th minutes as printed.
We have a motion.
Second?
We have a second. Any questions, comments, discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, treasurer's report.
Looks good. I mean, I feel great about, we were already earning interest on that
What you did.
decision we made. Yeah, it was a board decision, but like,
But you did it. You
but
did it.
we were already earning interest. I mean, it's black and white. It's plain to see. And it's good. And I think all the other accounts are fine. So I don't know if Kelly has anything to add, but very healthy would be my response.
That's nice.
Okay.
And as everyone knows, by the skin of our teeth, given the markets and the changes and the interest rates and all of that. So we are locked for a year with a, by any standard, a very good rate at this point.
Good, good. Any questions? Okay, moving along. Then. We're gonna go right to the revolving account. We have the vendor accounting check register. Does anybody have any questions on that? It's a fairly good size.
Yeah.
Yeah, the $90,000 check is the one that kind of jumps off the page at me. I don't know about anybody else.
You mean 89,000?
That's the one I mean, yeah.
Close enough.
Let's ask Joe, let's ask,
I mean, I says this is fish and I assume it's a reimbursement, but I'd love to get a little color.
So this is the doors at Francis Gardens.
Okay.
They just did the substantial completion and sent all the paperwork into DHCD where they signed off. So that's when DHCD puts money in our account, and that's when I pay them.
So that's 100% DHCD reimbursement.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
and we don't have to sign that off on that?
And I have all that right here.
Okay, so we'll be signing off on that, right?
Actually, it's a board vote, and
Yeah,
I sign off.
Right. Right.
So you need a board vote on that one line item?
That one line
Do
item.
you have that later or do you want that now?
If we're signing, if we're authorizing this, we should do this now.
Yeah, that's, can I do that? Mr. Chair, with your permission, may I?
Yes, please. Do we all agree? I mean,
Yes.
Is that, we good with the board? Okay. With the board's permission, I would like to approve the Fish Project 271078 with environmental abatement for the, what we colloquially know as the doors at Francis Gardens in the amount of $89,713.25.
and I'll take that in the form of a motion. And do we have a second?
Second.
And any discussion? There being none, all in favor?
Aye. This was the cover sheet. Hold it up so I can check them out.
Yep. Just take a second here, okay, folks? Okay, so we'll take that as a vote to approve the final installment on the contract. Okay?
So you said all in favor, we said aye, right? We voted it?
Yes,
Okay, all right, here you go.
we voted that, right?
Yes, we did.
Let's make sure. I
Okay,
didn't die at the motion.
continuing on the vendor accounting check
I
register.
have no further questions, Mr. Chair.
Anyone else? Okay, there being none, let's take a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion for the checks. To be clear, 47 checks in the amount of 177 for 1242, not counting the motion we just made to pay 89,713.25 as a subset of that total.
For a total of 177,411.40.
Correct.
We have a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Just wanted to be clear because one was a subset of the other.
Yep. Okay. Well,
Mr. Chair, if it's okay, I'd like to make a motion that we pay the portability out, 2 checks in the amount of $2,687.24.
we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Maria, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, with permission, I'd like to make a motion that we pay the HAP check register, what we refer to as the landlord tenant check register, for 147 checks in the amount of 178,880 even.
With the motion?
I
With the
did
second? Steve seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Good, thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that we pay the November, the November payroll as printed.
We have a motion.
Second.
Kathy seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. All right, that brings us to the vacancy reports. Kelly?
We have no vacancies at Francis, and we have 2 vacancies at Elizabeth. And each of the guys are in one department, the maintenance. So we have 3 maintenance guys, notwithstanding Gary, but each of the guys are in apartments. Get ready. So they should be done maybe within a week or so.
Okay. And we're in the process, are we already out on the list on that?
We do. One is a veteran
Yes.
and one is a middle resident.
All right. Any questions, anybody? Okay. Should we tell them?
One vacancy here, it's a handicap unit, and it's a Shrewsbury resident. And another maintenance guy is in that apartment.
Good.
Okay. Any questions?
Nope.
Thank you, Kelly. And on the section 8, we have 177 total leased of the allocation of 177. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
We've met our quota. With respect to the report for the residents' services, we have a total of 52 entries. Anybody have any questions about that? Kelly, is there anything you need us to know on this?
Do you wanna talk about the breakfast meals?
Yeah, they, get the name of it, but anyways, they had meals for the veterans at each location, Towers, Elizabeth and Francis.
Nice.
It was very
Who
good.
did that?
Patty,
Oh, okay.
yep, Patty called and got the veterans to have a meal for them. It was delivered.
Wow,
That's really nice.
that's very nice. Okay. All right. Moving along,
I
Kelly?
just have one.
Yes.
Does the math work? Does that equal 52? Are we missing something?
No?
19, 28, 38, 40, 45. I guess it does.
52,
Yep.
yeah.
All right.
Scared me.
I know. I was just thinking. Not that it
Oh,
really
we have
matters.
we have,
So, Mr. Chairman,
Elizabeth Street.
we were filling out an application for a, I don't even know what to call it.
MHP.
Yeah, a land surplus technical assistance app, and at the last meeting, Ms. Bergeron said she needed some help with some of the forms, and I believe she was gonna work with you. One of the questions was to write a letter of intent, and the board had asked me to take a draft. I took a draft at it. I shared it with a subset of this people. I also brought a hard copy. I don't know if this is what people have in mind. That's what you're looking at. I also brought a hard copy, as did Kelly. So if you want to pass that, yeah. Oh, you got it.
Oh, you guys have to.
But the real application is in Kelly's hands, and it's much more detailed, and it was online, and it had a bunch of fields and questions about parcel numbers and things like that, so.
And I owe you the deed for that, right?
Beans and a few other stuff.
Okay,
If you're available tomorrow.
I will be.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, there's a couple of things that we just have to attach to that as the
The-
Deed
plot
plan. Existing zoning.
Yeah, okay.
The do we want to give more details didn't come through on the copy, but it was highlighted, meaning it was a question for the board internally, not for the letter.
In some ways, I would think the less details, the better. because they'll come
Exactly.
back to us
This-
with questions.
That was my intention, which is why I kept it really, really tight and
Yep.
short, but I didn't want to make that decision unilaterally.
The same way for.
I like it. Anybody have any changes or suggestions?
It's good, really good.
So I think that's good. We can finalize that and give that to,
All right, so we just got to put the date into the upper left hand and then in the footer and things like that. I put all of our names on it and stuff. Yeah, so I'll Kelly, I'll send, if I don't send this to you tomorrow, just ping me, but I'll remind you. I'll take out the do we give more details, tighten up the signature letter and all that, and get that to you and finalize it.
yeah, or you could send it to me as well.
I think you have this already. I sent this to both of you in Word, but
Yes.
you would have had to. That's how you printed it out. So, but that's fine. I'll send another version out tomorrow. Mark it fine.
Okay. With that in mind, and we're still in Elizabeth Street, I did review the sewer line issue with Grenier. And it does appear that we'll have to shift buildings a little bit, but we don't lose any count, so.
Okay.
So, and in fact, he thought that if we shifted the buildings around a little bit to meet the sewer line, that it would make for easier connections rather than have a spaghetti of connections
Okay.
for sewer tie-in for the particular units. Every duplex you see has to get a separate tie-in.
Yep.
So, so that's what he has in mind there. The sewer line comes up Elizabeth Street, if we look at it like this, comes up Elizabeth Street and then comes off like this down to May Street, follows up here to go to Jordan Road, okay? So,
So this unit may be impacted potentially.
yeah, one of these units has to move a little bit. We're thinking 11 and 12 may have to move slightly.
And I actually put approximately 20 into the letter for exactly that reason.
Okay, so that, so he did say that, you have two options. One would be to realign the sewer line, which I said no to. Because I think that's way more expensive than shifting our footprints at this particular stage, okay? So that's that. Did we authorize payment of his bill, by the way, some months back?
It was in Affordable Housing Trust payment.
Affordable Housing Trust was supposed to pay for it. Yeah.
Sent it.
Yeah,
I will follow up with that.
he never got paid,
Okay.
okay? The next steps, I asked him about next steps, and what needs to be discussed with us is, first of all, we are gonna need a full existing conditions, utilities, and topo survey. So we can go off of Jarvis's plan to an extent, but we're gonna need topographical data on that. We're gonna need to show utilities that are existing out there on that. And any other significant conditions. So, we need to make arrangements to get that work done.
Should we wait until we send in this application, see if we have them awarded tonight?
I think that's fine. I'm just telling you what we need next.
Okay.
Okay? If we were gonna move forward today, that's the first thing we would do is update the plans with topos and existing conditions. Okay,
Okay.
topographicals is what we're talking about.
And I think as far as getting money from CPA.
Yep.
They're not gonna, well, even the CPA will obviously reconvene every month, but a decision wouldn't be made till town meeting approves it, which is May. So we have time to look at other sources. And we could do something like we did last time, we just do them concurrently. So we went to Affordable Housing Trust, we went to CPA, and then when Affordable Housing Trust said okay, then we just didn't move forward on the CPA version of that. So I just wanna keep that in the back of our mind.
So my suggestion would be that we get pricing on the next step of the planning, okay, for the topo and the utilities and all that. And with that pricing, then we'd be prepared to make application.
Right, and then
Okay.
would make the application, and then if funding comes in through the other source, then
Yep.
we'll go with it. Okay.
Yep. Because then also, and if we were an ordinary builder, we'd be also looking at architectural issues right now. And so the question for the board is, are we satisfied that we want to sort of piggyback off of the architecturals that we used for Ridgeland Road, which was duplexes?
I have,
Pardon me?
Keep it saying,
Well, we have those plans.
you do.
So with those plans, I have to go back. With those plans, it seems to me we could either go back to her or go to another architect and ask them whether they can use them. Because no matter what, I think those architectural plans are 10-plus years old and therefore would need to be updated to meet the current codes and designs.
Yep.
Okay? But it might save us significant money if we are okay using those plans as a format, so to speak.
baseline.
Baseline.
That's what we're looking for, that's the exact type of configuration.
So for my 2 cents, I have no issue with the original road. I liked the plans. I thought they were well served, and I thought they served us well. So, yeah, I mean, as a, you know, like I said, as a baseline, I think that would be great. It's essentially what we're looking for.
So I think if everybody is agreeable in that vein, what I would suggest is have Kelly contact KP King and Associates and ask them what it will take for us to utilize that design again, for them to update it to today's standards and for us to use it for 12 more duplexes. The same design. We okay with that?
I think that's great.
Oh,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
good, good.
I don't think you need a vote on that. We just-
No, I just wanted to, I didn't want you to think I was asleep at the wheel, so that's okay.
We would never think that for the record.
No laughing out there. And for anybody that wanted to see the sewer lines, I did print off what Andy Truman sent me, which basically just shows, you see this is the trunk line
Yeah.
here, and shows it coming up to Jordan and then down.
So
to-
we suspected and thought that all along.
Yeah.
We just simply learned that this is new and have to adjust accordingly.
Right. So you can see the lines that are coming up Elizabeth Street and then branching off towards May Street and then Jordan. Okay?
Mhm.
And that's my report on Elizabeth Street.
Point of order, Mr. Chair.
Please.
Kelly, it might make sense for the next year or two, just like we have a separate line item for social service and CPC, to have a separate line item for Elizabeth Street. 'Cause it's gonna be new business for the next 3 to 5 years, I think. So, just call it call it Elizabeth Street project or something like that. And then that doesn't wrap us into new business versus that, if the board thinks that makes
No,
sense.
good idea.
Sounds good to me. Okay. Okay, do we have any other?
We do have some new business that isn't Elizabeth, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Kelly?
So this is a new public housing notice, 2024-23, that just came out on December 3rd. What DHCD is looking and what they're going to be doing is funding for aging in place, which that means tub cutouts, toilets, which adjustable shower heads. So they are gonna give us 10% of our 667 funding during our capital improvement plan. That will be around $26,000. So one tub cutout, or maybe two at a turnover, could exhaust all that funding, just so you know, but they are headed in the right direction. A lot of people can't get into the tubs now.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense, but if they're only giving us 10%, the question, is this a mandate that we have to start, or is it like
This
A
will be
suggestion.
effective in February.
as a mandate? The funding or the moving for the aging in place upgrades?
Both.
what qualifies someone to age in place? How do we know what unit has to be done or not done
Exact turnovers,
at turnovers?
yes.
Okay.
That means every unit. And that
So
means,
that's what I was getting. It's not resident based, it's unit based.
And it's not for federal housing.
Oh, okay.
It is only for 667.
I didn't even realize that, yeah.
Which is Princess Gardens and Elizabeth Street.
So Kathy, we should have had this meeting at Francis.
Right.
Before they start throwing pitchforks at us.
But it's agent in place turnover.
So, but it's-
guidelines.
where's that
You-
today?
It's unit based, it's not resident based, correct?
It's
Every unit,
based.
every unit.
As they turn over.
As they turn over has to be upgraded.
Yes, but we can exhaust the funds very, very quickly.
Well, that's what
Yes.
right, so just,
Say we have
amuse
two
me.
turnovers.
Say next year at Francis and Elizabeth combined, we have 5 turnovers.
Yes,
The average turnover is probably gonna cost, I'm gonna guess 50 grand based on all of these things. And you're saying they're gonna give us 20 grand, so that remaining, in my simple little example, 30 grand will come out of our operating budget. Okay, that was,
yes.
wanted to be very clear.
Yes.
Okay.
So where are we gonna get that?
Yeah.
So how that happens is we ask for budget revisions.
Okay,
Every time we exceed a certain thing.
which will be every time.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be, especially with the top cutouts.
Don't they recognize that?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
No,
I didn't know if it was tenant-based or person-based or something, but if it's turnover-based, what's our average turnover? It's at least a dozen a year, right?
this year we had 31.
Okay, so I'm way off when I say a dozen. What's the state? 31, cut it in half, call it
Yeah,
15?
we'll call it 15.
Okay, so there's my math example. So if we are at 15, at 14 minus n, we're in negative arrears.
So every time we would have to do a budget revision asking for more.
So that's one a month.
It could be, yes.
Well, on an average of 15 in a year and 12 months in a year,
That's not family units though, just 667.
Just 6 and 7s.
Is this mandated?
that was my
This is
my
the
very first
public
question.
housing notice 2024. Yes, every public housing notice
I thought
that comes out.
Yeah, but says,
It's so funny because I read this, I'm like, this is awesome, and now it's not.
So,
it says many of these upgrades can be completed by OHA maintenance staff. Okay.
Well, to be fair, door handles, yes, I think Gary is capable of swapping out a door handle. But I mean, they run from door handles to tub cutouts. It's like, it's a pretty big swing.
we've done everything, the lighting.
Grab bars, we can do grab bars, we can do lighting, we can, flooring, we can probably, so it's really the big, can I, Mr. Chair, can I ask Gary a question? Would that be right with you?
That's fine with me. Gary, do you mind?
Gary, have you seen this document yet?
No, I have not.
Okay. Can I just pull you, your guys will do door handles, correct? Lever style plumbing fixtures, you guys can do that. Toilets, probably not? Yes, you can?
No,
Okay.
because they pull them off to do the wax rings.
Tough cutouts, that's, okay, so that's really the one. Grab bars is you guys, adjustable shower heads is you guys, lighting you can do, right? And then flooring
Yes. Let me just
and
tell you,
windows.
let me just tell you that the tub cuts
So it's the tub cut, is the big
are
one.
really replacing the tub with a walk-in shower.
Right,
That's what I think.
yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Can I say yes? Yeah, but it's not
All right, so really, if we peel back the onion a little bit, Mr. Chair,
Say yes.
it's the tub cuts.
That's the big part of the.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I can agree with you that, as long as our maintenance staff can do a lot of this, then it's not gonna be 50,000 a unit, but we're gonna,
Well, it's still, we're gonna be upside down after unit 2 or 3 in
Yeah.
a year.
we'll be upside down after 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, just be based on the shower, you know, because just the shower and ripping out the tub, framing a shower, putting the pan in, plumbing,
Yep.
That's
tile,
20 grand, right?
tile.
If it's a 2 or 3
If it's
piece
a
tub,
two
yeah.
or 3 piece tub.
20 grand, Gary, or something like that?
Well, if it's
Top
a
of your
2 or
head?
3 piece, no, probably more like 5.
Okay. And they're
Yeah,
giving us 10 grand,
Yeah, if we did, I would go with 10.
and they're giving us what per
They're giving us 10%,
Of what's the gross, 20 grand?
26,000.
So, yeah, 2 to 3 units. Call it 3 if you want to be conservative. If he's saying 10 and it's 26. And if we're averaging 15 a year, that remaining 10 or 12 units at a cost of 20 grand a unit, they're using the same 15 to 20 grand, is a couple hundred grand.
So it also says, however, that LHA should be strategic about this utilization of funds and prioritize improvements based on operational needs. Does that mean that we can do some of these improvements on a turnover, but don't have to do them all on a turnover?
So even if we did everything but the cutouts,
I think the cutouts are so important.
And the cutouts are huge.
I understand, I'm just looking at
the
the finance.
finance.
Yeah, I'm not making a value judgment, I'm just
Yeah.
looking at the numbers. Right.
Seems like we might want to just concentrate on the showers and, you know, do the levers and the doorknobs and things like that as they go along.
That's what we do.
And regular maintenance issues, and treat those as regular maintenance issues, but on every turnover that we can, just do a shower. Take the tub out, do a shower, and then see, when we run out of money, then ask for supplemental,
Budget.
funding, budget revision, and then move on from there. That way, because the way I read this is, we don't have to do it all at once, so you guys, Gary, can kind of get to those things as you get to them. And,
But some of them all go together, though. If you're gonna do a tub cut, you put the grab bar in and replace the shower head. So
And the
some of them are
toilet, while you're
different.
right there.
Correct.
If you're ripping up the floor and the toilet's right next to
but
it.
that's not the grab bars that go next to the handicap toilets.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, the toilet's right there, that's what I'm saying, the toilet's right there, right?
Right, so,
And if we could get the tub cuts done, I think that would be huge.
okay, so Kelly has our ideas on this, and that's what she needed, so. Okay. Anything else, Kelly?
Yes, there's one thing that did not make the board agenda, and the only reason it did not make the board agenda is it was supposed to be on next month's, but the contractor is asking for 50%. So our 8th floor solarium here, the door is locked as the windows are broken. There's pictures.
Which floor?
8th floor solarium.
Seventh floor.
It's the seventh floor, but
We're gonna have to share these things, okay? So,
It's the 7th floor solarium, but it's that I have,
Oh, yes.
can you say that the windows are broken, how broken are they?
broken where I need to, we have to hire a lift. So Harding Glass
Does each have one?
is the lowest bidder.
At 14.8,
At
whatever it is.
14.
Okay.
He is asking for 50%.
Before he starts any work. Who's this?
Harding Glass. Pioneer Glass refused a quote. Fox Glass came in at 28,000, 369.
Can I ask a question? How did these windows get broken? Was this vandalism or wear and tear or age or someone throwing a hissy fit?
But
the temperature over the summer, well, fall, I guess when the temperature changed, the inside of them cracked.
Okay, so these are like thermal pane windows where one of the panes cracked or something?
They're not thermal pane, that's why they cracked.
Okay,
The new ones will be.
okay. And they just cracked?
Building, did they building shift or something, or?
No, they were saying it was just due to the temperature change and with the blinds that happened to close at that particular moment in time.
Wow.
How old is this building?
50, it was 1.7.
So,
It
old.
was
Uh,
74.
Was there a baptism? So at 50-year-old, this is the first time this has ever happened? It just seems very odd to me.
The shades was installed, we had shades installed, and they were tighter to the window than the blinds are.
Okay.
So when they were pulled shut.
Oh, the heat
temperature
builds
changed.
up.
Yes.
Oh.
And the windows had nowhere to go.
Now I understand, Gary, thank you.
Are we gonna correct that?
Yeah, with low E.
And that'll be all right?
Yep, that's what they're recommending.
So, Kelly, are you asking for us to approve the 50% or approve the work in general? Has this already been approved or?
I've never done a bill when the work has not been done.
Have we paid something up front in the past for vendors, 20%,
We just don't
30%?
do it.
Okay, well then, that's a question for the board, I don't have a voice in that race.
But it's an emergency.
I mean, it's a relative emergency, but windows can get replaced, but.
I think that if we make a motion to approve a funding request like this, we make it subject to approval by our accountant,
Okay.
okay?
Okay, good idea.
That way, we don't get into trouble. If the accountant says, no, you can't do it that way, then Kelly's gonna have to come back to us, we'll have to do a special meeting perhaps, and just do it right.
Sure.
Can I make a further suggestion?
Yes,
Just because he's asking for 50%, do we have to give, we say we're gonna give him a third up front?
you know what, it's the 8th floor of the building, he's gonna get a lift here.
Okay, all right, I was just trying to be again.
I'm gonna tell you, that's a substantial cost right there.
Okay, all right, if you're comfortable, like I said, I have no horse in this race, so.
And frankly, Harding Glass has a good reputation, and I assume that that's the price that you're thinking about?
Yeah, if you open your next page, Mr. Chair, it's his actual quote is right there on your very second
I'm
page.
just looking at the.
Yeah, so go here and you'll see the actual.
Because the alternative is to just go with a bid that's twice as much. We only have two choices.
But, I also, I mean, Harding Glass is a known,
I agree with the chair, I've heard that, yeah, they have a solid reputation in the community, so if everyone's okay with it, it's fine with me.
I mean, I'm sure they're all sterling, I'm sure they're all fine, but Harding happens to be the low responsible bidder. And it seems to me that the lift being a substantial portion of that,
Yeah, it's $4,000, it's
Yeah.
right in this line item.
yeah, I mean, I don't blame him for asking for it up front.
Okay,
Yeah.
so would you like a motion, Mr. Chair?
Kelly, what else?
Lift cost.
Are you for it, Kelly?
I'm so for it.
Okay, all right,
I
that's,
just want to get it done.
This
Okay.
is an emergency, all right, we're gonna treat it as an emergency, and, Paul, if you wanna make a motion that we accept the
Yeah.
Harding Glass, bid as the low bid, and on an emergency basis,
Yeah.
approve, half of the bid payment upfront, subject to our, CPA's approval,
Yep.
then I'll take that.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that on an emergency basis, we approve Kelly's maintenance request for replacement of windows at the tower for the amount of $14,867.81 with a request for 50% due upfront, $7102.50, subject to the approval of our fee accountant.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
You're good.
Thank you.
a little unusual, but I agree, it's gotta get done.
Okay.
And if we have a problem with, James, let's get him on a conference call.
Yeah, we'll form an emergency phone call meeting or something.
I don't think we will.
I just don't wanna run into a problem with a audit.
A protocol, yeah, that's what I'd be worried about. Why, how can they make exceptions now?
So, we all understand that if James says we could run into a problem with an audit and he has another suggestion, we'll have a special meeting and we'll just do it another way if we have to.
And we can do a special meeting over the phone or something. yeah.
We can work it out, Zoom it or whatever,
Yeah.
okay? All right,
Do I hold off with this signing?
Yeah, we'll do that when we sign the other checks. Or we
oh
can,
no, let's sign it.
we'll sign it with the other checks and it's still subject to James' approval.
Right,
Right.
right,
After this meeting, I will be emailing James and he'll respond right back.
Yeah, and if James doesn't approve it, you just rip it up. That's fine. We'll sign it for you.
yeah. Anything else, Kelly?
One thing, I brought the schedule for next year,
In color.
color coded. Of course you did.
I already have one.
Thank you.
So I
Oh, I'm sorry.
just adjusted this because we can no longer go to Elizabeth with the new computer. There's no room in their break room, so I just changed it around so that we're here in Francis every other week. Making
Month.
sure that we could be here in March because that's when we have our budget meeting, so it's easier to be here.
We're not doing Elizabeth at all.
No, we don't, there's no room for us now, unfortunately. But they added a computer to that break room, so there's no space.
That property is not conducive to formal sessions. I don't think.
Okay. Anybody have any comments? Questions? Okay, that's a lot of meetings outside of the towers, isn't it?
Well, no, it's the same.
Half and
usually.
half.
Yeah, But we were doing that, before, but we had one for, Elizabeth built it. So we were doing 6 here, 5 at Francis, and 1 at Elizabeth.
Okay.
I have last year's.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the schedule?
This was the original one.
I don't think we need one.
I think we do. Yeah, because she's gonna have to show it and post it.
Okay, Kathy, you wanna make it?
Motion to, accept the meeting schedule for 2025 as printed,
Second.
The location schedule.
location schedule.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you, Kathy.
I guess before we close, January 14, good for everybody?
That's at Shrewsbury Towers.
Yep. In case anyone's curious, it is the day after my birthday.
Oh, yes, I was wondering about that.
Just so you know. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you. That's why I mentioned it, so you can practice.
Okay,
You don't want me singing.
okay. Yeah. That's fine. Okay.
So January 14th here, that works?
Hi, folks. Anybody want to say anything? Anybody have anything to say or comment? Yes?
This window issue,
Yes.
now, the 5th floor and the 3rd floor is a solarium with these shades. We have to be careful to watch that.
I think we do need to be careful to
Should we
watch
be
that.
aware of it, or should we, stop watching and making plans?
Well, I think that, number one, our maintenance will be keeping an eye on it. And it's always helpful if you, as the residents, keep an eye on it as well. If there is a protocol for keeping the shades open or closed at a certain time, I think Kelly or Gary can let you know what that protocol should be in order to avoid just this kind of problem. And-
I mean, rather
Because it sounds to me like
fix
this
it
problem,
before it happens. This is what I'm
well,
suggesting, that we put stuff aside and be ready to do this.
I think that this is an extraordinary expense, and what we would like to see is if we want to do all the windows like this, rather than do it on an emergency basis, we want to do it under a capital improvement program, so planning is everything, as you know. So I think in the meantime, if we avoid closing the shades tightly on those hot days of summer, such as what
Which is
occurred
why
here.
they're there, because it is boiling.
Right.
So we pull down the shades,
Okay,
Yeah, all
Just-
three slayers are
you
both.
know?
so,
And as long as you put them back up toward the end of the afternoon,
Mm-hmm.
so they do cool off.
Yeah,
so we'll work with you the best we can. And in the
but I'm
meantime,
just saying, should we be planning to eventually replace them? So this won't happen,
I think we,
and have an issue.
I think we probably are gonna put it on our plate to plan to replace them, so the answer is yes, in
I
the
mean, if we're
future.
not gonna get showers, let's get windows.
Yeah, we need new ones in all our apartments.
Told you, Kathy, we were in the wrong venue for this meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to move that.
I probably won't see that.
Okay, so this is something that we'll be taking up at a later time, and we'll see what we can do about, with capital improvements. It takes years for us to get funding for certain things, so we'll have Kelly investigate it and hopefully put it on the list.
Extra money we're making, profits that we're making on the interest that we're investing.
Don't I wish we
Maybe
could just
need to
spend
put it
that?
into a window.
Don't I wish we could just spend that, and that's something we'll discuss at some stage too. So it'll go on the list though for eventual repair and replacement.
Just a suggestion.
A good suggestion, an appropriate suggestion. Next, anybody? Is everybody okay? Okay, nice to see you all. Thank you for having
Have
us.
a nice Christmas.
Have a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday.
Yep.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.